I was raped by Harvey Weinstein here at camp. I was 21 years old. This festival was his hunting ground. I want to make a prediction. Harvey Weinstein will never be welcomed here ever again. He will live in disgrace, shunned by a film community that once embraced him and covered up for his crimes.
Hey y'all, it's August the 20th, I believe 2018, and y'all, today, it's Monday, I believe, and I got some breaking news, one of those kind of Mondays. Alright, so I got some developments, I got some updates in regards to a case that we've been keeping our ear out for. We haven't been paying attention to it too closely, but we saw where it was going here on this channel. And I made mention of it, and what I'm referring to is the hashtag #MeToo movement, which, like a lot of movements, died a long time ago. It's just this ghost that's still there. It's not an actual movement that's going anywhere, and that's the definition of a movement, is that it's going somewhere. And certainly the #MeToo movement is not going nowhere. So, thing is, obviously a lot of people would jump off and say, oh, you're a sexist jerk. I love ladies. I love ladies more than men, right? And I don't have relations with neither one of them, to be honest with you. But, you know what I mean? Like, I hold women in a very high regard on a personal note, although it's nobody's business. I've always been surrounding myself with females. For example, right now, I mean, that's just coincidence, but Bella's a female, all right? I like females. I really do. And I really want to endorse their safety. That's why I always came out against this Me Too movement. A lot of people didn't understand why. All right. So you got new developments now, and all this is alleged. All right. And I say that a lot because it really is. All right. I'm not here to necessarily give you facts, but I'm here to give you what I done heard and see if it don't all add up. Because you got that Asia Argento, and I made like one video about her. Maybe two. A lot of people were talking a lot about it. A lot of people caught hell about it, and there was all sort of controversy about it. Why are you bullying Asia Argento? You probably heard that, because I know I did. Why are y'all bullying Asia Argento? She just went through a tragedy, and y'all are bullying her and death threatening her. It's like, dude, first of all, it's not happening. It's just not happening unless it's happening by insane people. If it is happening by insane people, we might want to track them down, put them into an institute, right? Nobody was attacking Asia Argento. Nobody was bullying Asia Argento, but many people were making documents and documentaries about Asia Argento, talking about, well, you know, just so happens she's a witch. Just so happens she's all into dark, disgusting things. Just so happens so is her father. I mean, publicly, and that's well known. Just so happens that, you know, like, she put little mysterious messages on her Instagram, like within hours of this dude's untimely death. Oh, it just so happens, and stuff like this, right? A lot of people found that suspicious, right? So they talked about it, and that's all it was. It was hearsay. It was talk. It was nothing more than that. People didn't have facts to connect anything, and, you know, as far as I know, the facts to connect anything between Asia Argento and the untimely death of her boyfriend who she was cheating on, Anthony Bourdain, that doesn't really, it doesn't lead to conviction. It doesn't really lead to indictment either. All right. So we made note of it, just like a lot of people made note of Asia Argento and her pretty much unsavory ways. I found it very unsavory. If you're a lustful person, you might see all her different photographs of herself pretty much naked, and you might think, oh, this is a good, oh, that's a piece of good meat and stuff. I don't look at it that way, personally. I look at it and think, oh, it's disgusting. I look at her disgusting naked body everywhere, and I'm like, dude, that's really disgusting. Why don't you put that away? You should probably put that away, all right? Especially in regards to the angel of death that's creeping over her vagina. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what it is, isn't it? All right, so it's all disgusting to me. And we made note of it. A lot of people made note of it, and then subsequently, the internet and all these big tech firms were like, oh, y'all bullying Asia Argento. Y'all should just shut your mouth up and not say nothing. All right. So now, meanwhile, later on down the line, inevitably,
I keep jumping inside to clean, then back outside.
That's the robot that talks to me sometimes. I got voices in my head, and you're hearing them too. The thing is, about Asia Argento, we're now, like I said, on August 20th, 2018. And I don't have facts for you, but I do have hearsay. What people are saying is that she has been a perpetrator herself. That's what they're alleging. A perpetrator. The robot. The robot keeps talking to me. Stop talking to me, robot. Anyways, I'm sorry about that, y'all. But Asia Argento, lose my train of thought. She was very unsavory. Now it's August the 20th. She's being alleged to be a perpetrator herself. She's the Me Too who got Me Too'd. All right, she's an alleged perpetrator herself. What I'm here to tell you is, I don't know if that's true, but if it were true, it completely makes sense. It makes all around sense, because unfortunately, what happens in some of these instances of child abuse, especially sexual abuse, spiritual abuse, all sort of different abuse. What happens is that sometimes those children take on those traits and they become a perpetrator later on in life. They also become a sexual predator, right? And they can't even help it. Their brain wiring's all mixed up and things of this nature. I'm not trying to find out whether they can help it or not. All I know is that is the case for some people, and it's not really rare that somebody who's been abused throughout their life and turns out to go on later on be an abuser. And in fact, you heard it here first a long time ago, but a lot of people then said anybody who sexually abuses people, who's a perpetrator, man, they 100% have been perpetrated on. They've been molested before as well. It's a vicious cycle. And I'm not excusing anybody, but I'm here to point out that it's a vicious cycle. All right. So allegedly, I have no facts, but allegedly, Asia Argento is being accused of being a sexual perpetrator herself on a young boy, which would only make sense. And in that, you know, she's still all up in this business, this unsavory business, where all sort of allegations are being thrown around. She's still in the business. Why is she still? Because she loves it so much. Meanwhile, her net worth is quite large. She doesn't have to even work a day in her life if she didn't want to. All right, I'm just pointing out the obvious facts that are out in the open. Asia Argento is continuing on in a cycle publicly, but I'm here to tell you it's another cycle, and that she's been abused as a child, allegedly, and now she's doing it to other children. Meanwhile, she's the head of this whole Me Too movement, a movement, by the way, which is, I guess, guided by witchcraft. All right, I mean, how open and in your face it's got to be witchcraft? You got witches starting the Me Too movement. You got Rose McGowan, who desperately wants to look ugly, and she makes herself look ugly as possible. And mind you, she used to be an attractive-looking person. All right, and they're witches. They're unsavory witches. Meanwhile, now they're getting, not Rose McGowan, not yet, but Asia Argento is getting accused of being a perpetrator.
The New York Times reports one of the leaders of the Me Too movement, Italian actress Asia Argento, is now accused of making a deal with a young actor who said she sexually assaulted him.
But Asia Argento is getting accused of being a perpetrator, which would only make sense, and in that she's still very much in Hollywood. She loves Hollywood. She can't get off the Hollywood teat. She can't exist anywhere else but in Hollywood. Stuff like that. You might think, oh, well, this kind of conspiratorial theory type talk, and you really don't have facts. I'm here to tell you I don't have facts. But I've seen what people have said, and I've heard what Asia Argento herself has said. And I'm putting two and two together. All right. I'll give you the final exhibit, Exhibit B, for example. All you gotta do, if you haven't already done it, a lot of people have, is go onto YouTube, type in Asia Argento,
I was raped by Harvey Weinstein here at Cannes.
Cannes, speech, that Cannes, CANNES speech. You know, it's a movie festival where she gives a speech in front of the whole crowd. And this is very clear in everybody's face. The speech, to paraphrase it, what she did over at Cannes the other year is she said, listen, there's molesters in and amongst the crowd here at Cannes Movie Festival.
This festival was his hunting ground. He will live in disgrace, shunned by a film community that once embraced him and covered up for his crimes.
Weinstein, he was one of those perpetrators. He was enabled to run wild here.
And even tonight, sitting among you, there are those who still have to be held accountable for their conduct against women.
It was his stomping grounds, if you will. It was his feeding grounds. This is what she said, all right? It was his feeding grounds here at Cannes and probably many other places. He's using his power and wielding it over women to dominate them. This is her whole speech. She said, Harvey Weinstein, he perpetrated on me, and he perpetrated on a lot of people. But even worse than that, people let him do it.
You know who you are. But most importantly, we know who you are. And we're not going to allow you to get away with it any longer.
And they kept their mouths shut. And
for behavior that does not belong in this industry, does not belong in any industry or workplace.
they didn't talk about how he's perpetrating on all these ladies. So, okay, this is where her speech gets very weird, because she begins to start accusing the audience, the very audience that's there. She's accusing them of previously just letting it happen, turning a blind eye, sweeping it under the rug. That's literally what she starts accusing the audience of. And meanwhile, they're too socially awkward and shocked to even be able to react. You're gonna notice. And she just keeps going on with her rant, and you can see like veins popping out. She's like, oh, people at Cannes just let Harvey Weinstein ruin my life and stuff like that, and I still want to hang out around him and stuff like that, but you need to remove Harvey Weinstein from your midst. So, and like, she got really, really impassioned about it, and she was like, okay, she's explaining a situation in which Harvey Weinstein was able to do whatever he wants at places like the Cannes Movie Festival, but probably many other places. He was able to do whatever he wants, no matter how gross it might have been. He was unable to do it. People in and around his circle allowed him to do it and didn't say a word about it. And then Asia Argento completes her speech by saying, I think we're gonna change things. I think the Me Too movement is gonna change everything, you guys, because I don't think Harvey Weinstein's gonna feel comfortable around here no more. So I don't think Harvey Weinstein's gonna be able to come through here and perpetrate the way that he did. Alright, and so therefore Cannes is gonna be totally, revolutionized, and that's how her speech ends. She said, I don't think Harvey Weinstein's gonna be accepted here no longer. Alright, meanwhile, that's all up in your face. Number 100% retarded, right? Because why would she understands, and she's implicating people of letting him get away with this behavior. Meanwhile, the people are still in the audience. The people are still working at Cannes. Those people you said let all this happen, they're still there. They're still going to let it happen. Right? She was attacking Harvey Weinstein, but not only that, you'll notice she's attacking men in general. She said, men in power, men with all this power, sometimes they go off the rails, and they start perpetrating on all sort of young female actresses. And that's it. These men, these disgusting, this is Asia Argento. She's like, these disgusting men, they perpetrate on young female actresses. And that's it. And we need to get that. It's called the Me Too movement. It's run by witches. publicly, like publicly. So that wasn't going nowhere. And a lot of people had the sense enough to realize this lady was up to no good. Irregardless, whatever she's up to, she ain't up to no good. And they're pointing that out about Asia Argento. And like I said, today, it is August 20th, and it's become known that she herself is a perpetrator. Would just make sense. Why would she want to hang out in a community full of perpetrators and only get rid of one of them or two of them and still want to just be there like, oh, like nothing happened? It's a disgusting cycle, allegedly. Allegedly, you guys, it's a disgusting cycle Asia Argento is caught up in. And it's a thirst in her heart. It's a lustful thirst that she can't quench. She's never going to feel satisfied. Alright, and that's why she acts out in these crazy, crazy ways. Alright, here to tell you is actually just the obvious, but it turns out, yeah, she's also a perpetrator. She didn't want to stop the culture. She didn't want to turn around the culture. She wanted to get rid of the big dog, Harvey Weinstein. Oh, maybe that makes her the big dog, huh? Maybe she can go out and perpetrate all she wants now, huh? She's a witch, right? Alright, it's all up in your face. She's all sending secret messages in and around people's deaths. It's that ominous. Alright, now she's under fire with that sexual assault, and color me not surprised. I'll holler at y'all later. I appreciate y'all. It's August the 20th, 2018.